Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we tackle the controversies of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, 1 minute at a time. My name's Tom Taylor.
I'm the Admiral, Pete Marcus Mummert.
Gerald Christopher Peanut Buster Parfait Porter.
Delicious. And
Actually, right quick, Pete, do you know what a parfait is?
No,
You know what parfait means?
it means perfect.
Yes, exactly.
oh,
Parfait is French for perfect.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect peanut buster.
here, watch this. You just teed me up perfectly. And we've got a parfait of a guest with us again today, Mr.
Beautiful.
Paul Sullivan. Welcome back, Sullivan.
Merci beaucoup.
Gross.
This is such a smoothly running machine. This is glorious.
I know. Je parle un peu de français. J'ai habité en Suisse pour 2 ans.
Wow.
I assume that's gross.
Yeah, no, I actually said I speak a little
place in
French.
France.
I lived in Switzerland for 2 years as a kid.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very
You
cool.
ever cross
that's-
the line and see the naked ladies dance?
Oh yeah. Well, you know, that was actually I relayed a story in one of the earlier that I didn't see Raiders of the Lost Ark when it initially came out because I was living in Europe and we walked in late.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I didn't see any of the scene in South America. It just started with Porkins. I thought, oh, this is how the movie starts, and I loved it. And all the people were out there, hey, remember that scene when the spiders were on and the bowler was chasing him? I said, no, I don't remember any of this. What are you talking about? And but yeah, that was as I said, I saw it for the first time twice. Once when I saw it missing the beginning, and then I saw it with the beginning, and it was like, oh my god, this is great.
And now we're making you
But
see
yeah.
this one twice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're sorry.
This is the opposite of that experience.
Well, we are sorry, but we're glad you're here.
No, it's okay.
We're gonna
it's
have
okay.
fun.
We're here. We're here. We're gonna have fun with it.
That's
We're here.
right.
We can have fun.
Here we got a
This
scene.
is fun, folks. This is fun, folks.
This is fun. If you're ever wondering, this is what fun looks like. This is minute 26. It's fun. It begins with Indy
Yes.
acknowledging Dean Stanforth, who has just interrupted his class. And it ends with Stanforth telling Indy he doesn't know what he had.
Wait,
He sort of stopped in mid-sentence there.
is that his name? Stanford?
I
Yeah,
looked it up.
Yeah.
I looked
I
it
was
up on
just
the
gonna
Internet
say.
Movie Database.
You don't know that, do you, Tommy?
No, I don't.
Because
Jim
I have him
Broadbent.
down just as Dean Charlie.
Yeah.
I assumed it was Academy Award winning character actor Jim Broadbent.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
assumed too. I was
Just him.
Now I was perfectly ready to just call him Jim Broadbent the entire time, and I never learned his name. But I figured I should look it up, and I did.
I'm glad you did. He's Jim Broadbent. He's
You're
the
welcome.
dude from Can from
Yeah.
Moulin Rouge.
Time Bandits.
Yeah, the game show host in Time.
The map, please.
Wow.
Is that Jerry?
Wait, no one knows
Greatest-
that song. No
I
one
have it on
knows.
I have it on
that.
my iPhone.
So-
I have it on my iPhone.
Okay,
I
you
listened
blew my mind. No one ever sings that closing credits song, and
I love that song.
Yeah, it's a
Only
great
dream
song.
Away. Yeah,
Yes.
and it's the greatest ending for a children's film. Spoiler alert for Time Bandits, which came out the same year as Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
The parents blow up. Sean Connery's fine with it, and the kid is neither sad nor happy, yet confused at what the world is like. And then God rolls up the map. Cue George Harrison.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how you end a movie.
You know, I watched that with. I found that when I first got a DVD player, I watched that, and it had the director's commentary on it, and he describes that scene as like, oh, his parents blow up. Sean Connery gives him a little wink, so you sort of know he'll always be there for the kid and everything. I'm like, that's not what I got from the ending of that movie at all. He got in the fire truck and drove off, and the kid's all by himself with his exploded parents. That's a sad movie.
it's
But it's
Yeah.
great. and evidently there, that was obviously George Harrison's Handmade Films put that together,
Yeah.
and there were some people. Harrison apparently didn't think this, but other people were worried that what would the reaction be to the kids' parents blowing up, and when they screened it, the kids went berserk and started clapping because it's hilarious.
Well, I never thought. See, that's ridiculous. I don't think. I mean, Sean Connery the fireman winks at the kid, and it's sort of like this transcendental wink.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like it's kind of like that. That's how the whole cosmos is, kid.
Yeah. Deal with it.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going over
And
here.
none of it was a dream. You lived through it all.
Yeah.
And in the end, you're smarter than your parents who are obsessed with television and buying appliances.
Yeah.
Your curiosity of the world, you don't need them.
Right.
You don't need them.
But you
Yeah.
do need to just stand here in your bathrobe by yourself in front of your charred house. Your dead parents.
And what does he
Anywho.
do? Oh my God, that's amazing. All right. Anyways,
And
thank
that's
you for
been our
singing
and that's
that.
been our
Yeah. Yeah,
that's been our
wow.
discussion of the Kingdom of the Crystal
Yeah.
Skull.
I
Come back
found
next
out
time when
that
we
was.
discuss Tootsie for an hour and a half.
I couldn't believe that was George Harrison. I had no
Yeah.
idea till like 2 years ago. It's a
Yeah.
great song. Anyway,
Yeah, it's great.
It is a great song and a great movie, and Jim Broadbent's in it. And so I mean, we were at the beginning or the end of Last Minute, we got this sort of Marcus like approach of Jim Broadbent going down the hallway,
Yeah.
entering the classroom, as we've seen twice now in two different movies. But we see
Yeah.
right away that Jim Broadbent is not like Marcus 2.0. He's not the replacement Marcus, because Indy is like, yes, like he's really
super
annoyed.
Yeah.
With him. He's not excited to see him at
Yeah.
all. He's not warm to him. He's like, what? I'm trying to teach her.
See, I think he's trying to get out his aggression that he never showed Marcus for his character change last movie.
Oh, maybe.
I like that. Well, it is interesting. I've never seen Indy hiss like that before. I don't know
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, he goes like he could because okay, in Raiders, Marcus comes in and he continues teaching as if it's normal for Marcus to enter the classroom, and obviously he's going to talk to Marcus like 10 minutes after the
Yeah.
class.
And he's got stuff
This-
to tell him. He's,
This, he's got
Right.
big stuff to tell him. This, Jim Broadbent comes in and Indy finishes not the class, he finishes his sentence and then hisses,
Yeah.
yes. And you're like, whoa, I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever seen this before. Certainly not in this professional Marshall Barnett atmosphere.
Right.
And the dean calls him professor. He doesn't call him Indy or
Calls him
Yeah.
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 And there's no sense of warmth
No.
that he has
No.
with him at all, which goes not to this minute, but the next minute there seems to be a wild contradiction.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that, and that's a preview for tomorrow's minute. But that there is a sense, at least from my point of view, that this is, we've just seen him clash with Russians. We've just seen him clash with government bureaucracy, and now it seems like he's about to clash with university bureaucracy.
Yeah.
So it's another level of Indiana Jones, even though he's not called that in this movie. We'll get to that in a minute. Sort of going up against people and like throwing things at you in this movie. Like, look at all these people who are against Indy.
Yeah.
And Jim Broadbent in this scene at least seems like an antagonist, and certainly someone who gets the ire of Indy in this.
Yeah.
scene.
At least
Yeah,
might not
yeah.
have his back or something.
Yeah.
Well, check this out. So as Indy, Jim Broadbent says, "May I have a word with you?" And it's fascinating. He interrupts the class. He doesn't
Yeah.
wait like another 12 minutes until it's over. But okay,
Yeah,
it's
even
clearly
Army intelligence didn't interrupt his class.
yeah. It's like,
over.
but check this out. So he comes and he says, "May I have a word with you?" And as Indy's exiting, he says, "Okay, review Michelson chapter 4." And I thought for a second, okay, look, maybe that's why Indy is so furious here. He's like, yes, because he never can get past Michelson chapter 4.
They haven't given him a new book in like 30 years.
Yeah, and also like he never like ever. They get up to chapter 4, and he's always interrupted.
Right.
See, I think that's more evidence that Indy's just not a real teacher. Like he's
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
like there have been a lot of huge developments in archaarchaeology in these 21 years, but he's still using the same old text.
He's still using
Right.
it. So I wondered, is the course called Michelson?
Yeah, maybe.
But you know, in Raiders, it was Michelson 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And this
But
one
that
is
was
just 4.
just, that's just it. They never got to him. That was just, you know what I mean? If you
by
think
now-
about it.
I don't think he ever, assigns anything past chapter 4 because he's like, I assigned 4
He's
and
never
5
there.
at one time and I was off to,
Yeah.
Cairo the next minute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
like for 19 years in a row.
yeah, one step
Yeah.
at
He
a
never
time.
gets, yeah. That's why he's like, I'll be in my office. No, I won't. I'll say, you
Yeah,
kids
who
have
are we
been
kidding?
great.
Yeah. I'm climbing out the
Have a
window
good-
as I speak.
Yeah.
Have a good
Have
year,
you guys
kids.
have you guys ever seen the movie The Visitor with Richard Jenkins, one of the great that guys in film
Yeah.
history? Got his got an Oscar nomination for it, and it was the best. And it was he plays a professor, and in the opening one of the opening scenes of the film, he's starting his new year teaching a class, and he has like the previous year's syllabus, and he just whites out the year and writes the new year in it, as if to say, I'm just doing the same. I'm just the same stuff every year. And I can't help. I started thinking of that when you were saying that, Jerry, like, that's probably what Indy does. What the hell was last year's syllabus? Yeah, we're just doing the same thing again.
Seemed
Saying
to work last
Michelson
year.
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Same stuff. I'm just saying, this is here to give me a health plan so I can run around grave robbing and everything.
Well, yeah, and because if you look on the blackboard, it's got the Sankara stones. There's a list of Chinese dynasties, which I think he probably used that as a vehicle to discuss Nurhaci. And then there's a list of the crowns of Egypt, which he was talking about looting the Ark of the Covenant. Like, I think everything he talks about is just what he's done.
Oh, maybe.
Wow.
What if this is kind of like The Usual Suspects, that he actually hasn't done any of these things? These are all stuff written on the blackboard.
Yeah. Let's get back to the Kobayashi burial in Hazleton.
Yeah. And Marcus just enabled it. Oh yes, these are wonderful. And there's just
Very
like
good
it's a broken coffee cup that says Kobayashi on the bottom. Yeah, that's
Denny's.
from the
Yeah,
99
he just got
cent
a-
store?
99-cent store cross. Oh, this is kind of a wonderful place in our Spanish.
Wow.
As he's stuck in this room with a boiler in it. That's
Crying Elvis on velvet. That's beautiful. And this will find a spot in the museum. Totally.
But the people I brought are important, and they're waiting for you. And it's like
We got a jacket
it's like
for
Shutter Island. Shutter Island. How many
I didn't
more
look it
films
up,
can
but
I
I think I know the
spoil?
difference. Oh, what? I'm sorry.
How many more films can I spoil? We've just spoiled Time Bandits, we spoiled Shutter
Hey,
Island, The Usual
minute is young.
Suspects. It's a sled.
He's his mom. I didn't look it up, but I think I know the difference between Migration and Exodus.
Oh yeah, one is Jimmy Buffett and the other's Bob Marley.
Wow. I'm glad I only got
We've
half
reached
of
a
that.
new level of stupid. We have reached a new level of stupid on this podcast.
No, what is it? Go ahead, Tommy.
Again, I didn't look it up, but I think that migration is people moving, based on their needs. They like have to travel over here because they're hunters and gatherers, and they, the berries are over this way. And Exodus is they have to move. They're being shuttled out for some reason, like either something catastrophic is happening or political, and they have to all pick up and move.
Yeah,
Well, like
Exodus is urgent.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
migration is
exactly.
kind of casual. Like they might move to someplace for a little while, but they'll probably move someplace else or come back.
Yeah. I didn't read Michelson, so I'm not totally sure. But yeah.
No one ever does, Tommy.
But there's this line in the script here that I'm hoping is a reference
Oh.
to young Indiana Jones.
Okay.
It says the students look
Pete.
up sharply. Indy and the dean are visible through the glass. Indy looks like he's going to clobber him.
Well, so it's weird. So we hear what? and I really want to know what the dean said to him before that, because we know what the line after is, but is the the line before, the Lord checked your files and he knows you peeked at the ark. It's just like, what exactly does the dean say? And I'm gonna say that the following line has got me completely confused. After Indy says what, Dean Charlie says, I have no idea the pressure coming from the Board of Regents.
Or you have no idea.
You have no idea.
No, he says, I have no idea the pressure coming from the Board of Regents. It should be, you have no idea the pressure coming from the Board of Regents. He doesn't say that. No, it's I. He goes, I have no idea the...
Well, does it sound like that, or is it the...
Yes.
It's you.
Either that, or maybe it's one of those, I mean, it could be, I have no idea, comma, the pressure coming from the Board of Regents. It's just that... It's just, yeah.
It sounds like he just leaves off the subject. It sounds like he just says, have no idea.
He goes, I have no idea the pressure coming from the Board of Regents.
It's a heated conversation. Their grammar is not going to be.
I don't have
splendid.
a dog in this fight. I'm just gonna assume that someone said something quickly, and as I alluded to in the previous minute, that line's not the issue with this film.
God, you're sensible. You're not going to get caught in a big, huge argument over I or you.
Yeah,
that is really.
It's weird. I listened to it
mature.
20 times. Promise you. He goes,
nobody cares anymore, Jerry. We moved on.
There's CGI prairie dogs in this film. We could survive Jim Broadbent swallowing a line.
I love how he says controversy.
Yeah, controversy.
Yeah, do you know what? The Real Crime podcast that I produce, Real Crime Profile, features Laura Richards, who is a wonderful person, and she's amongst her many credits on her resume is her background in New Scotland Yard, and she speaks very proper British voice, and she has said controversy a bunch of times, and said it in a way like going ooh, and she said aluminum in a different way, like
aluminium.
Yes.
Did she say I instead of you?
Yes, that's a British thing.
Does she say sabotage?
Yes. But yes, that's and she says inverted commas whenever she says something in quotes. So I put that in inverted commas, and I love it. Anything British sounds smarter than anything we do. So it should be called inverted commas, which is if you said that in a Boston accent, inverted commas, it's like, oh God, what a dumbass. You say it in a British voice, and then all of a sudden you're a genius. But yeah, I just brought that up to plug the other podcast, but also that she had said controversy in the same way.
So that's the thing.
It's a British thing.
Well, so
he's right and we're wrong.
Is Dean Chuckles British?
Yeah.
Chuckles the Clown.
I mean, is he British or is he doing that affected New England thing?
No, he's
British.
I
wasn't sure about that either.
The same way that Marcus was. I mean, why do you think they cast him? They wanted to get a respectable actor who's kind of has the Denholm Elliott quality to him.
Yeah,
sure, okay,
that made sense.
Well, speaking of, and I know Tom, you're going to hate this and want to walk out of the podcast episode, but I think it's a really nice touch that they walk by this painting of Marcus.
Well, see, I think that is a nice touch, but I do also know that there are going to be like 50 more touches in the next hour or something.
Yeah.
And we had like a Marcus watch during Last Crusade. We're like, let's keep an eye on our buddy Marcus, see when he actually goes nuts. Does he actually go nuts? How nuts does he go? And I feel like I want to kind of do that with like the Marcus tribute watch and keep track of, because I feel like there's like 3 too many coming up.
Yes. I think there are too many, but I like this one because this one you don't even really notice unless you're really paying attention.
That kind of, I'd be good if that was all of it, if that was like the only mention of him or something.
And this might also be a parallel universe where Marcus never got weird.
No, maybe, yeah.
Well, I'm going to explain right now how you're wrong.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
This is weird. That painting was not on the wall 8 seconds ago.
I went back and I think it
Dean
is, but
Charlie,
it's like you can't.
No, it's not.
You just can't. The angle is weird, and like the light is on it, so you can't see anything.
No, it's like the pictures are actually rearranged. Coming down that hallway, there's a different set of pictures. When Dean Chuckles is coming down the hallway, there's a different set of pictures, and there isn't this Marcus painting.
If that is true, then that's bad.
What if Marshall is at Hogwarts?
Totally.
Yeah.
I was
Might as
thinking
well
this. It might as well be.
Is Jim Broadbent not in a Harry Potter movie? I find that hard to believe.
I don't know.
The odds are
I feel like he
must be.
should be, and that if he's not, it's because this is a Harry Potter movie, and that's how they got him in.
There's something strange about that Marcus painting.
By the way, can I bring up? I don't know. There is a movie where they did do that with a painting on purpose, and in the Mike Nichols film of Catch-22, there's a scene with Norman Fell and Bob Newhart, and in the scene, as Bob Newhart is having kind of a mental breakdown, and Norman Fell is letting him do it, he walks past a picture of FDR. And then he's on the other side of the room. When he walks past it again, it's a picture of Churchill. And then he walks past it again, and it's a picture of Stalin. And in the director commentary, Mike Nichols and Steven Soderbergh are having a conversation. He revealed that, yes, that's intentional. There was, when they moved over there, a PA quickly replaced the picture. And then when he came back, quickly replaced the picture again. To have that sense in the film, there's a sense of, wait a minute, what's going, did I just, and it's never focused on, the camera whooshes right past it. So it's not like, look at it, it's different, but it's like, just to keep, they did little things like that to keep you on your toes and a little uneasy. I'm going to go on a limb.
The best part of that story is that Norman Fell and Bob Newhart are in the scene together.
Yeah.
I happen to be a big fan of the Mike Nichols Catch-22. This minute is all about other films I like. Other than
that tells you something, doesn't it?
Yeah, I happen to be a big fan. As flawed as that film is, I think it's a beautiful technical achievement and has moments of real brilliance in it, and little weird pieces of humor, like the painting, like the pictures of the three leaders there. And so I honestly think that that's not what's happening in this hallway scene.
Yeah. You know what, Jerry? I think you're right. I think they did plant that picture after he walked by.
Maybe the dean carried it in.
The dean carried it in. No, they did.
Oh my gosh, it is like a totally different set of pictures.
It's a totally different set of pictures.
And you know what? I take it back. Okay, so the painting is bad. The painting is bad in every way. There should be one reference to Marcus, and it's coming up, and it's not. Yeah. There's a good reference to Marcus that's solid and kind of, well, you know what? Even that one's a little weird. Anyway, they shouldn't mention Marcus. Marcus is dead. He died during Last Crusade. And that's it. No, not really.
I like this one. I mean, you don't see it. I don't remember ever seeing this in the movie.
I remember seeing it in the theater, but I kind of thought it was kind of neat. Although I never got the sense that Marcus had worked for the college. I felt that he ran a museum.
See, that's another indie wiki dumb thing that just got weird over time. Yeah, like in Raiders, he works for the museum and he hangs out with Indy at the college because he's got guys there to talk to him. He brought him there from the museum, and then all of a sudden he like works for the college or something. He's like the dean of students or something,
which is not.
I don't know.
It's like when they rewrite like between seasons of a TV show to like it's like facts of life. Like, well, they stole something, so now they're all like in the same
prison.
These students are like, they have to like stay like with Mrs. Garrett and like cook in the kitchen or something.
It's kind of the facts of In for Life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's
a little forced and weird.
Well, so is it? I guess the story was they're at Marshall. And then they're at Barnett, and then they're back at Marshall now. And I guess he was so great that they put a picture up of Marcus 8 seconds ago in the hall. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got it cleared up.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the dean put this up to try to mollify Indy a little bit because he's so angry.
Oh, man.
I mean, say, okay, this will calm him down a little bit.
That's funny.
Oh, jeez.
I love when you say that because it wasn't funny when you say it.
It's not funny at all. It's not funny at all. I'm sorry.
Well, what's interesting is Indy says to review Michelson chapter 4, and the first thing all the kids do is they jump up and they start yapping and talking, and the classroom becomes unruly, which is kind of funny. He didn't say like,
what happened.
Now go choose a partner.
Yeah, right. Come over here and eavesdrop on my conversation with the
Yeah.
dean.
Is he upset that they're eavesdropping? Because he
Yeah,
grabs
he is.
the
He's
dean and pulls him away.
absolutely.
He is, but the dean
Yeah.
who's worried about the controversy he's just happy to stand there in front of the thin glass door with everybody
Yeah.
listening.
But is Indy trying to protect his own reputation here? Is that why he's trying to move it away?
Yeah.
I think he's really worried about the kids not reading Michelson chapter 4.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm trying to teach her.
No, Indy is a very, very private guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, whatever, see, we don't know what Dean Charlie said to him. And so and he goes, what?
Well, we get
And
the
that's,
gist.
you know, and then I love that he says they're not vandals. You're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's awesome. He's an archaeologist.
Also, maybe he said, Henry, they just put up a new painting of Marcus. And Indy goes, what? They're not vandals.
Yeah, no,
They had every
art
right.
curators. Yeah. I actually do like that outburst of his. He's like, India, like, why are you even angry? They're the FBI.
Yeah.
They can,
Yeah,
they had a
they're
search warrant and everything.
Yeah.
They did it by the
Yeah.
letter of the law.
Yeah.
Maybe Indy's
Yeah.
just used to people protecting him from all of his law breaking. Like that's what Marcus did.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not a very good dean of students. You're supposed to be protecting me from the FBI.
It really feels like at this point that this was a different movie that was unfolding because you're like, okay, Indy was kidnapped somehow by the Soviets and he's clashing with the FBI, and the FBI is now entering into his sanctuary. And it's really interesting how this just doesn't pay off at all. Like this is
Yeah.
I mean, there is no payoff for the whole FBI story, which up until this point is like, is Indy going to be a man with no country? And no, we're just going to totally forget about this. This is just meaningless.
Is it just a way of like showcasing the paranoid times, McCarthyism and all that?
Yeah,
I
that-
think they have
that
a chat
is-
about that later on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it
That's
seems
what
like
it
an
is.
awful big slather of that when even that doesn't matter to the movie at all. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I get it. It's the 50s. I get it.
I think a lot of this.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jerry. You're going to make a better point than me.
Well, no, Tom, I think you nailed it. It's like they said, we're going to make a movie that's like, one of those 1950s alien things. And so what are the most important things? Okay, we got like communists and we got, nuclear testing and we got
Poodle skirts.
McCarthyism. Yeah. And we got like, you ain't nothing but a hound dog, drag
Right.
racing against against army trucks.
Yeah.
Well, I felt that a lot of that was George Lucas's last attempt to do something American Graffiti like. That he was able to play all the classic, play the classic songs and do the let's go to the hop sort of stuff and that and throwing in the McCarthyism is like, well, I now understand that this era that I'm so romanticized so much in American Graffiti was actually the early 60s pre-Kennedy assassination, which he was really, but that whole 50s, early 60s that he romanticized so much was really not as romantic as I made it out to be in American Graffiti. And maybe there's a little bit of that going on there. But
there, I think there's also when, like it wasn't that long before this when during the Academy Awards, when they awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award to Elia Kazan.
Yeah.
And Spielberg was one of the only people that backed, that kind of supported that.
Oh, yeah.
Because everyone was like,
good
it
point.
was super controversial
And
because he had
Warren
named
Beatty.
a lot of names. And then Spielberg was one of the few people that stood up for him. And I wonder if this is, hey, I can talk about the Blacklist too.
But did he?
That's interesting.
But did he?
Yeah, they're also showing us that like what has happened to Indiana Jones, sort of how how his life has gone, what the trajectory has been. He doesn't have students flirting with him anymore. He's still he's got the government after him now. He's been indicted. Despite the, I mean, it kind of goes with this lone wolf. It's a little bit like, Pete and I, you did the Dirty Harry podcast, which is a lot of fun. But it's a little bit like that, where it's like, oh, he's our hero, but there's always someone giving him a hard time. The government's giving him a hard time. Authority is giving him a hard time. They don't understand him. They're questioning his motives, his intentions, his methods. You know, with like that. That's what's happened here with Indiana Jones.
And like Dirty Harry, Indiana Jones has broken a huge number of laws in this movie already.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is weird. I mean, that is a long way to go for nothing. For no, it does again. It doesn't have any effect on the movie. Like that all paints kind of an interesting picture if they did something with it of like Indy, like the students aren't flirting with me. I'm getting kind of old. I'm life isn't what it used to be. I'm thought of as an enemy to my country all of a sudden. Like, it could be like a late period Rocky soul searching kind of thing or something, or like, just kind of some sort of like, or, Kirk and Star Trek 2 sort of like, oh, I'm all old and washed up.
All of this would be so,
but there's nothing. There's none of that.
There's none of that.
No.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. What are you going to do? There does look like there's a false grail in the display case there, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you think Indy ever went back to Pankot Palace to check on the Maharaja and everything like that, to check on the kids?
No.
I
think he went back to see if there's anything else to take, but I don't think he cared about anybody there.
Yeah.
I think he went back to see if they cashed the Shankara Stone check.
Yeah.
And if they didn't. No, I don't think. I think Indy cared about
Fortune and Glory.
Pankot Palace and that little village for about the 4 minutes of the end of that movie. Yeah.
Well, do you have anything else for the end of this minute?
There is one line that they took out at the very end that I'm kind of glad they took out.
Oh.
When Indy says, I don't want their money, in the script it also says, I'll tell you what they can do with their money.
I
think he won.
Well, that would go along the lines with wanting to clobber him.
Yeah.
Right. I can sort of hear Indiana Jones saying
like
that.
Lucy Van Pelt.
But yeah, it's not necessary.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though, because Jim Broadbent reads the script word for word, but like Indy takes a lot more, like Harrison Ford takes a lot more.
He's British.
liberties.
That's how the British stage actors know. They learn the lines. That's how they're trained that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Respect for the
Indy,
writer.
And Harrison has always had kind of an improvisational feel to his performance, and he's also let's be frank, he's high.
Yeah, he's going to the bejesus belt. He sees 3 Jim Broadbents in front of him. He's trying to pick one and get through the scene. Get back to his trailer.
Cue bong sound effect.
Get back to his trailer. Well, speaking of stoned, hey, this is a good one too. This just in from Professor Christy Porter. What was your favorite class in college?
Oh,
Tommy?
I liked my I forget what it was called. I liked all my film classes. I took a bunch of film classes and they're all cool. Got to watch movies.
All of them. Was it one? It was all of them? Okay, all of them.
Yeah.
It's the same room. I don't remember the name.
I look just like, Marshall, Barnett, whatever. Different wing, same room.
Yeah.
Pete.
Camera angles.
Oh man, that's a hard one. I took a class about religion in the Near East, like ancient religion in the Near East. Like 3000 BCE, 2000 BCE, which was fantastic.
Oh,
like
cool. What was that
how we
through?
got to now. Near Eastern language and culture, I think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's a good class.
Sully?
Other than my film classes at NYU, I had a great screenwriting teacher named Mark Arowitz who gave me the greatest note after a screenplay, which is he had this very deep kind of Sam Elliott voice, and he said to me after a screenplay I wrote was, "Sullivan, what you've got here is a who cares story," and but I also took a great class called Judaism, Christianity, and Islam at New York University, where it was about the common links and the origins of all the religions, how one bled into the other, and while I'm the definition of an atheist heathen, I loved that. I was not then. That helped me become one. But
I actually had the
really,
same exact experience. I had a similar class where I was like,
but learning about them, it's sort of like, oh, now that I understand this, it was more of a learning from a sociological point of view rather than a spiritual point of view. Whatever you believe spiritually is fine. Whatever, I don't care about that. But it's like, let's understand how these came to be. And it really affected me in a great way, and I actually still have the books from that class. I still have them.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool. Oh. I took a class just like, well, Pete, you'll know this, at Indiana University drop an ad, you tried to get into like you had to get into like your a prerequisite or something you were required to take, and you couldn't get in at all. And at the end of the day, you still had to fill up 15 credit hours or whatever. They'd be like, oh, okay, third year Portuguese. You just had to like pick something. And I took, and it was weird, I took it as an elective because it was the only one of the few classes that was left open at 4:30 on Friday afternoon.
I know.
What is it?
It's the history of the plague, right?
Oh, that was really good. I did take that. History.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't. That was a good one. I had history of epidemics, that was a fantastic class. But I think my favorite one was it was in the College of Nursing, which I am not a nurse and never planned on becoming one. But it was immunology. And it was me and like 250 women, and it was absolutely riveting. Like the teacher was kind of a little bit of an Indiana Jones type, where he had been in like World War II, and he had been in like the Pacific and theater, and like he had seen all sorts of really sort of odd and esoteric diseases, and then we discuss them, and then we discuss what exactly they did to you. Like, so this is what happens when you contract whatever, like Legionnaire's disease or something. It begins with it was just it was really interesting, and I think that was my favorite class.
Can I quickly share one thing? You can cut this out if you want, but I want to share this one thing. I took a bunch of classes as prerequisites when I was getting my film degree at New York University. And some of them I really half-assed. I mean, I just like, what's the bare minimum I can do in this class so I don't have to worry about this elective? And I took Introduction to Anthropology. And I went to my final examination in this big hall at NYU. And they give you the little blue book and everything like that. And I started giggling because I realized that if at that moment you put a gun to my head and said, define the word anthropology, pull the trigger, I had no idea. I had no clue what I was doing in that class. And I got the C and moved on. Which, by the way, is written in Gaelic around my family crest. Get the C and move on.
Beautiful. Words to live by. It's always worked for me. Well, Sully, thank you again for joining us again this week again.
We talked about everything but Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I can't think of any movies we didn't cover. But listen, hey, we got Friday too. You should come back on Friday and we'll cover Tootsie, Dark Crystal, and let's say Stripes.
Sure.
Okay. So please, all of you, come back on Friday for minute 27 of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
No.